weekend. Hey, Alexa.
Hey, we have some big storms happening now on the South Shore, down the bayou, and for our river parishes. A little bit of rain on the North Shore and Tangipahoa Parish. Heavy downpours, frequent lightning, and gusty winds within these thunderstorms happening across the South Shore. So a lot of rain happening on the South Shore of Lake Pontchartrain across the New Orleans Metro, and especially in St. Charles Parish. There are 2 street flood advisories happening now because we've already seen a couple inches of rain fall just in a very short period of time. There's 1 street flood advisory on the West Bank and 1 in St. Charles Parish because of this strong storm. A ton of lightning within this thunderstorm with stronger gusts, probably up to 30-40 miles per hour, and very heavy rain. And these storms will be around throughout the afternoon hours. So expect a few strong storms to push through today. On the North Shore, not a whole lot of action except in Tangipahoa Parish, where we have 1 thunderstorm in the southern part of the parish. It is feeling hotter on the North Shore because we have less rain. We have that downpour you can see on our live camera here on the West Bank. So some heavy showers and a few stronger storms this afternoon, helping to keep some of us in check when it comes to the heat. Temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s. It's 91 in Slidell because it's dry. It's hot, it's muggy, and we'll see more heat and humidity going into the weekend. But plan for some scattered storms through today. Temperatures, if you don't get any rain, easily get to the mid 90s. If not, you'll probably get to about the low 90s this afternoon, and then by tonight we should be drying up with temperatures in the 80s this evening. There's actually a heat advisory in effect today and again tomorrow because our feels like temperatures could get up to 112 degrees in the afternoon today and tomorrow. That's if you, of course, don't get any cooling showers. Here's a look at your weekend. Temperatures will be heating up to the mid to maybe upper 90s on Saturday and Sunday. We'll have a mix of sunshine and clouds both days, but we'll still keep a chance for a few isolated showers and storms around this weekend. High pressure will be building in, but we'll hang on to some moisture, so it does get hotter, but we'll still have a chance for a few scattered storms around this weekend, especially today where we're getting the heavy showers and a few strong storms, especially on the South Shore throughout the afternoon. Prepare for some heavier downpours working through. Make sure you're driving carefully this afternoon. You may have to deal with some big puddles out there in a few spots today. By dinner time tonight, things look to wind down. We should be pretty dry overnight. And then tomorrow we'll see plenty of sunshine, a few isolated storms possible tomorrow, maybe in the afternoon into the evening hours tomorrow, but they'll be hit or miss. Sunday, much of the same as the high pressure builds in. I think storm coverage will be a bit less this weekend, but we'll still have a few hit or miss storms again on Sunday, kind of few and far between for the weekend. Now looking at the tropics, Hurricane Erin has developed as of today. It's a Category 1 storm, the first hurricane of the 2025 season. It's expected to become a major hurricane later this weekend. And then we have Invest 98 in the western Gulf. It's losing steam, has a low chance of development. It's pushing into South Texas and into Mexico now, so bringing them a little bit more rain, but no tropical worries when it comes to that. No impacts for us at all. Hurricane Erin, this is where it stands right now at 75-mile-per-hour winds, Category 1 storm, looking pretty well structured on satellite there. And then it's going to continue to move to the west and pass north of the Caribbean islands this weekend, but it is set to strengthen to maybe a Category 4 hurricane later this weekend and is expected to make that turn to the north and avoid the United States. So good setup there. And we're still going to be watching, though, the upper pattern, the steering currents, to see how far away it will be. But it looks like it will be passing really far enough away from the United States that the impacts are going to be very small. We're talking about maybe rip currents, rough seas, which is something to keep in mind if you go to the beach along the East Coast. But those are really the extent of the impacts, beach hazards, with Erin being so strong. And that is expected to, again, be the big thing from Erin going into next week for the eastern seaboard. So here's the upper pattern. That trough swings down across the eastern seaboard, and that trough is what takes it more to the northeast and away from the United States later next week. So thankfully, that's the setup that we have in play now. And looking at the wave heights from Erin, so that's really the big thing. Rough seas, big waves for the Caribbean islands, for the eastern seaboard. So pretty bad rip currents, especially for those beachgoers going into this weekend, into especially all of next week. Looking at the winds, it may get a little gusty for parts of the Caribbean like Puerto Rico, parts of maybe the Virgin Islands, seeing some gusty winds in the next couple days, some heavier showers for them. For the United States, though, it just looks like beach hazards and maybe some gusty winds along the Carolinas, right along the coastal spots. Maybe you get occasional gusts up to maybe 20, 30 miles per hour. And that looks like the extent of the impacts from Erin along the East Coast. So minimal, but something to keep in mind if you have any friends or family there that like to go to the beach in the summertime, of course. As for us along the Gulf Coast, no tropical concerns at all. It's just going to be really hot and humid over the next week with a few scattered storms around every single day.